By the end of this video, we should be able to create a pop-up modal using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript into something like this. So let's get started. So what I have here is an empty index.html page where I have opened that in the browser, and it's a blank file, as you can see. So let's get started by adding the HTML code into something like that, and we'll check if we have some document. Okay, it's working properly. So the first thing we need to add is a button. So we need to have a button and a modal. A button will serve as a trigger, and the modal is the actual modal we are trying to create here. So the first thing is, let's write a main, and then div, which we'll put the class container, and then inside the container we'll add our actual button. So let's try adding, if this is working, let's try show pop up modal. There. So we just have to refresh it, and the button is there. So let's put some, I think, some styles in that button. So let's try to add some styles here. I don't know, styles, something like that. And then let's try to add a style for the button. I think let's add some class in here. Class like btn, and then that btn. Let's try to add button classes. So I'm just gonna use this, where we have a padding of 1.5 ram and 2 rams, border, back shadow, and background cursor, and things like that. So let's try what we get in the UI. So let's reload. So there, yeah. And then let's try to add this button in the center. So how might we gonna do that? I think we'll just make the body 100%, the main 100%, and then we'll put in the center. So it goes like this. So let's target the HTML. Before that, that will be a height of 100%. Let's see if something's working. Not yet. And then let's add um, in the main and body. Let's try to add height of 100%, and then I think, and then we have the body main, and we have the container. So we'll align center in the container. We'll target the container. So just to show you that this body is 100% now. See the height, the HTML, it's highlighting the entirety of that. So that's 100. No, I think the body. Oh, we need to reload. The body is height is 100% HTML. Yeah, the HTML. The body. Look at that. The body, then the main. So I think we just need to reload that. And then for the container, since this is 100% height, and then the main is 100% height, what we need to do is to center this pop-up in here. So since it is in the container, we'll try to make the container as well 100%. and then we'll do um, flex box and align it in the center. So something like that. So that's it, it's already in the center. However, we have some issues here. It's not border box. You see a little bit of spacing in the edge. So let's fix that and add some defaults in the CSS of our HTML, as well as in our main body. So something like that, and let's reload. Oh, okay, that's, see, it's a lot better now. So let's work on the actual modal. So let's proceed to creating the actual modal. So just below the button, we are going to add our modal in here. So let's try to add a div with a class of modal. This will serve as the container of our modal, and then we'll add the modal overlay. You see when the modal is popping up, the background is something like blurred or something like that. So that is the purpose of this overlay modal. Let's try to add a modal overlay, and then just below that, let's create another div where this is our content, the actual container for our modal. So let's put it a class of a modal container, and then inside the container we'll add our modal content, the actual square or rectangle you see on the pop-up modal. So that's what try to add. We'll try to wrap them in a modal content. We are adding these classes because we are going to style them and we are going to target these classes. Let's try to add a button for a close icon. It's just a representation, and then we'll add a what you call, maybe a message where our messages will take place. Let's try modal message, and then let's try to add some lorem ipsum in there, and then let's just format it. Then what you need to do is add the buttons. So the cancel button, something like that, or accept. So let's try to add modal buttons and we'll target them later. So let's try to add a button of class cancel button, and also another class for accept button or OK button. So let's try to, I know it will be messy in the front end or in our web page, but let's try to see what we've got so far. Told you it's quite messy, so let's try to add some CSS and let's make this work. So let's target first at the so let's try to, I think what we need to do is style first the modal, and then we will go from the here to the bottom. So let's do that. In the modal, we want it to be at the real front. We call that z index. Let's try to add 10 so that it will be displayed correctly, and let's try to add a position and a background color, so something like that. And then let's the modal overlay, let's work on the actual modal, the modal overlay. Let's add position fixed, inset, and background 0. So let's try what we have so far in the front end. Okay, so this is our overlay. It's working properly. And then let's work on the modal container, the one that's responsible for holding our modal content. So let's add so this one, the modal container, I will just explain a little bit. So this is our modal container. This is our modal overlay, the gray one like this, and this is our modal container. It's like the overlay, it's the same functionality, but this one we have added. This is where the container of our modal content. So we need to make all the items inside the modal container centered. So that's the purpose. While this one is just to overlay the color of the background, this one serves as the real container of our model. So that's pretty much it. Let's move on to working on the content. So this is our content and this one, and we just need to style it so that I'll just show you. So this is our content. It's not yet styled, so let's try to style that modal content. Let's try to add all these things: the background, position, max width, so that it has already, it's just there's just a maximum width and the padding and things in like that. So let's try what we have in. So that's it. It's pretty much we are getting there. So let's try to style this cancel. No, let's try to find the icon first. I think that's where we need to go. So hero icons, and just have to copy it, and we'll find close, and we'll copy the SVG, and then we'll paste that in here as the button icon, and then we'll try to add a class. What should we call it? We should call it close button, and then a class in the SVG. Let's try to add close button SVG. Let's try to see what we have so far. So we see nothing, and let's style that one. So to do that, let's proceed to styling that one in here. So the modal buttons are it's for the close button. Let's try to add these styles. So what we want to do with the close button is that this button should be in here and with the X mark, something like that. So that's what we want to do, and then we just have to add some CSS to that, like this. So the padding, we have the padding, the border, and the position absolutes, and then we'll put it in the top right corner, and all these other CSS. So let's try to look what we have so far. This position should be in here. So it's gone. I think it's there. So let's find it. This is how you can trace your markup if you are working on correctly. So it's just there. We just don't see it. And let's try to add some. Yeah, it's because it doesn't have any content, because the SVG doesn't have a height and width. So let's try that. Close button SVG, close button SVG. just add some height, and we'll see that when we reload, see there's already a close button here. And then let's style the content along with the buttons, and we'll just do it very quickly, so we can finish this one as soon as possible. So for the cancel button, cancel button, let's add these styles. And then for the accept button, um, no, accept button, let's add these styles. We'll see what, and then because these are just adjustment buttons, and we have modal buttons as container, we'll try to have some CSS in there as well to separate them properly, and then we'll reload, and there it's becoming. We just need to style this one as well, because I think, yeah, we need to style this one because it's too close here, and we'll improve that by targeting the modal message, not modal, since this is our container for the messages for the text. And let's try. Okay, and for the modal content, I think we have already added that one. So that's pretty much it. We just need to, I think we need to add a margin bottom in here. It's not working properly. It's still too close. Well, no. Let's add to rem. No, to unrem. Okay, so that's pretty much what we wanted. And then for the next one, we'll try to add the CSS, oh no, the JavaScript part on this, because when we close, it should close, and when we accept or cancel, you should do your own thing to that. And let's try to make it work with JavaScript. So let's move forward with adding the JavaScript. What we want to do is when we close this one, it should close, right? So if we do that in CSS, I think we need to target the modal, and we'll need to make the modal disappear. Like let's try to find the modal, like here. Let's try to display a none, and then I think reload. Yeah, it's gone. And then we click. After we click that, we want to display block. So that's the functionality we want to create. So let's do that. And then, but first we need to add a class, maybe show display block, and then that height display none. So let's try to add in here for the modal. Let's find our modal and we'll just minimize it for now. Let's try to add height. Okay, but when the class is height, this class is associated with this HTML, with this CSS display none. So it should hide. That's the purpose of it. If we click reload, that's gone, and we should show. This is one of the tricks you can do, just so that it's easier. Aside from, you can just add using JavaScript. You can just add style, display block. You can surely target this using JavaScript, something like that. but it doesn't really look pretty well. We can just add class in here associated with that, and uh, it will like, I think it looks prettier than that. So let's try to do that. First, we need to listen for an event, a button click event. So let's try to target this using ID of what you call this, show modal. Let's try that, show modal. So let's try to target this element and listen for a button click. And when there's a button click, that's where we add our event. This is where we make the this is where we add the show or hide in here. So let's try to set up this, and let's try to add here script, and then const, what you call it, show modal. This is the button, is equals to document that get element by ID. What's the ID again? I think it's show modal. So let's try to console log show modal, console.log show modal, and see and try to check what we get in here. So we actually get the button. So it's time to listen for an event for that button, and this is how you should do it. Add event listener, and then let's listen for a click, a button click, and then let's create a callback function. If you don't know what's callback function, don't worry about it for now, but it's just a function that it calls on its own. When we click this, it should call a function, something like that. And then let's try to it will have a payload for the event. Let's console log the event, the E. Okay, now let's try to hide this one first, the modal, so that we can click on the button. So see, we have pointer event, and we have this click event and all this information. So when we have a click event, let's try to add this class in here, and we need to target the modal. So let's like we did at the button, we need to add ID in here for the modal. So let's try that, and let's target that modal. Let's put it right below here. Const modal equals document that get element by ID. What's our ID? I think that's modal. And when there's a click event in the show modal or the button, let's try to add modal. Let's add that class modal. Let's get the class list of that modal, and let's try to add a class. The class is show, right? So let's try if this works, and I can see that okay, where's our overlay? Here in the modal we have hide, and this should change to show, and our pop-up should show. It's not working. So yeah, because we need to remove the hide first, and let's remove the hide modal that remove class class list that remove the hide. Okay, then let's reload. Yeah, we need to hide this first. Hide. Okay, that's hidden. And then if you click this, this should show the our pop-up should show right there. Let's see, it's showing. And then when we close, I think we need to listen an event for that as well. So let's target this button, and this button for the click event, and we'll close, and we'll replace it with hide, something like that, like there. So let's do that. What's our buttons? Our buttons here, close button. I think what we can do is, yeah, we'll just target it one by one, because that's way advanced. I think that's way advanced to get just all the buttons and then loop each one and listen for an event. But that's for another topic. Close. I think just close modal. I think what close modal. I think we need to do that. No, just close button. ID close button. ID. Let's try the ID cancel button, and then an ID of accept button. So we can target each one. Okay. So we'll just have to replicate this one. I think what we need to add are the buttons. Close button. We'll target close button, and then we'll just copy. This is cancel button, and then another one for accept button. Accept. So let's all listen for these events. So we can just copy. No, just close button. That add event listener. Then let's listen for a click, and then it will have a callback function. And let's try target modal. If that is closed, modal add class list. Let's remove the show class, and then because we are trying to hide it, let's add a hide class. That add class hide. So I know this should work. This one and close, something like that. And then we'll try to replicate with these things, because cancel, in your cancel button you probably want to send a request to your API, something like that, and you accept. There's action behind that, or you want to delete a user, something like that. So we'll just copy these functionalities for now, and I will just add, it will just close all the buttons, something like that for now, because we don't have you have the you can add all your logic in here. So everything should pretty much work out correctly. So let's try to reload. Show hide, show hide, show hide. So that's pretty much it, how you can create a pop-up modal in using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.